What's up, Raider Nation? Welcome to True Raider Podcast. Now, today, what I want to talk about is our wide receiver room. So, if you haven't caught the trend yet, I'm talking about each room that we have. I started with the quarterback room, talked about the running back room. Now, we're going to talk about this wide receiver room. And this is just my thoughts and a little bit of breakdown, on what I think about what our current wide receiver situation is. Now, this is not a place where I really think that we are hurting at this moment. There were times where I was a little bit worried about it because we didn't have a lot of depth. Going into free agency, but right now we're in a position where we actually have some depth and we have some really good talent kind of up and down the board. So I really just want to get into this real quick. I mean, this is one of those that's, kind of a no brainer, but Devonte Adams. Now, Devonte Adams is Devonte Adams, right? And some people are talking about, oh, he's getting old. And, there's just this trade rumor involving the Jets and the Browns and Amari Cooper. And we'd get like a first round pick in Amari Cooper. And the Jets get Devonte Adams and the Browns get some other. It was just like, what is going on, Bleacher Report? What are you really talking about? Like, it is that dead in the news for Raider Nation that they are making up this kind of stuff, right? So, with Devonte Adams, man, he's got a lot of years left as a very good player in the NFL. Some people are talking about he's past his prime. I think that we've seen a lot of receivers go late into their career, like Jerry Rice, and still really make a huge impact. Now, he kind of had a down year last year. Only 8 touchdowns, 1,100 yards receiving. If that is a down year, I mean, even he was like, if that's considered a down year, then like whatever, he's had 1,000+ yards. I mean, 5 seasons. There was two of them where he had 997, right? So, I mean, Devonte Adams is still going to perform at a high level, and I have no doubts in my mind that he's going to continue to push forward and do well. Last year he had Jimmy Garoppolo, who could not get the deep ball going, Brian Hoyer, and rookie Aiden O'Connell, right? So, I mean, he went through 3 quarterbacks in one season, 2 offensive coordinators, and yeah, it's going to contribute to a down year. I really think moving into this year, Devonte Adams is really going to be able to have more of a season that we're used to seeing out of him. I definitely think he's going to have a better year than last year. And honestly, if he only does as good as last year, like that is not bad at all. 1,100 receiving yards and 8 touchdowns. I'm not even upset about that at all. So, you know, Devonte Adams is Devonte Adams. We're going to be able to use him on the outside. We're going to be able to use him in the slot. With Luke Getzey, he's already familiar with Devonte Adams from Green Bay. I think that Devonte Adams will perform better just because of that. And I really think that there's a lot of different aspects with the addition of Brock Bowers and things like that are really going to open up Devonte Adams to be able to play a lot better, right? That's just simply what it is. And then Jacoby Myers really showed up for us in a big way last year, and Jacoby Myers was kind of, he was the number one receiver in the Patriots. I think he's best known during his time with the Patriots for throwing a touchdown pass to Chandler Jones of the Las Vegas Raiders. Man, that was hilarious, right? But also last year, he even had a touchdown pass, with the Las Vegas Raiders. You know, there was some really good gameplay that we saw out of him. He hit 807 yards and 8 touchdowns. Jacoby Myers is a great complementary piece to Devonte Adams. He's definitely our wide receiver too. And I mean, I honestly I bought his jersey, but just because I'm going to buy a Michael Myers mask, and it is what it is, right? There's the Michael Mayer thing and the Jacoby Myers thing and the debate on that. But really, I mean, Myers is Myers, right? I'm really stoked to have him on our team. I really think that he's happy to be here. There's even some interviews where he talked about the difference in that the team felt, when we transitioned into Antonio Pierce. And I really think that he's going to have a better season this year just because of that. So I mean, our number one, our number two, we're really set there, right? We're really super set there. And then, we got a couple other receivers on this roster, and I'm not going to talk about every single one, right? I'm going to mainly focus on the ones that I think that are a lock to make the 53-man roster, right? We got Trey Tucker. He's a little bit shorter. He's the speedster. He only had 331 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was like the go-to for Aiden O'Connell anytime Aiden O'Connell looked like he was feeling like he was in trouble. And so Trey Tucker and Aiden O'Connell really have a good connection. And he really opens up this offense where they got to watch for the deep ball if Trey Tucker is out in the field. So if you got Devontae Adams running one route, Trey Tucker running another route, you got Jacoby Myers over here, and then you got Brock Bowers running underneath. It's like, who do you watch for? Who are you going to double up on? You got to give respect to Trey Tucker if he's running a deep route. And so, since they got to give that respect, it's going to open things up in the slot and the tight end room. And really, he's just a great addition to this team. I think he's going to be able to up his game a little bit. I know he's got some special team stuff that he contributes, but mostly I think that he's our speedster and in that deep threat. And honestly, I don't think he's going to be one of those players that really shows up huge on the stat sheet. At least this season, but I do think that he is a difference maker with that deep ball. He is going to disrupt some plays just by being out there and running fast and pulling away the safeties away from certain plays. He's a great diversion and also a great receiver. And so I'm happy to have him on the team, man. I like Trey Tucker a lot. Some people are saying like he's a little cheetah and things like that. I don't really think that he's quite the Tyreek Hill, though I do see some potential there. Unless he makes a huge leap this year, though, I think that those kind of conversations are gonna kind of fall off and disappear. And then we had during free agency, we brought on Michael Gallup. And Michael Gallup, man, he came over from the Cowboys, 6'1". Last year, he had 418 yards with 2 touchdowns. We're not expecting him to come in and be wide receiver 2 or wide receiver 1. Really, he's going to be a third or fourth option. I think that being able to rotate him and Trey Tucker really it diversifies what's happening on the offense, and he's really a solid receiver. I mean, he had that 1 year in 2019 with 1,100 receiving yards, 6 touchdowns, and ever since then he just really hasn't hit that. 843, then 445. He's been in the 400s for the last 3 years, and a lot of that is he had that ACL injury, and that's going to slow people down, right? But more than that is CeeDee Lamb. They got CeeDee Lamb, and since they got CeeDee Lamb, of course his production has gone down because CeeDee Lamb is getting all them targets. So I don't think that Michael Gallup is necessarily a player that's falling off as much as he's played around some talented players, and there's other options that are going before him. And that's going to be true for him for the Raiders as well, is that there's going to be other options. We're going to get Devontae Adams the ball. We're going to get Jacoby Myers the ball. We're going to get Brock Bowers the ball and Michael Mayer, Zamir White. All these other players are going to get the ball before Michael Gallup. So I don't think he's going to hit hard on the stat sheet for us. However, I do think that he is going to be a difference maker for us, and he is going to be just a really solid depth piece, right? If this is our third or fourth receiver down the line, I think that we're doing pretty damn good in this department, right? And I can't really have a video where I'm talking about wide receivers without mentioning somebody, and guess the next video, yes, is going to be on tight ends. But we got to talk about Brock Bowers, right? Because Brock Bowers he was drafted number 13, this year in the draft. And I mean, he's a first rounder. He is a solid tight end. He's been the best tight end in college football for several years in a row. He's, the one that was beating out Michael Mayer to win. I can't remember the name of that award off the top of my head right now. The award for the best tight end in college football, right? He won it the last 2 years straight. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. But he's just been a solid player all around, right? He's averaging 12 to 15 yards per catch. He's, between 7 and 900 yards receiving. 6 to 13 touchdowns. I mean, the stats show a lot, right? But really, he's a player that can get moved all over the board. He got a lot of receptions from the backfield. He got a lot of receptions in the slot. He got a lot of receptions on the outside, and he got a lot of receptions as tight end. So really, I think he's going to be in this offense with Luke Getsy, going to be getting shuffled around a lot, where it's going to leave teams guessing. Are they doing 12 personnel? Are they doing 13 personnel? Like, what is happening here, right? Is he running as a tight end right now, or is he going to run as a receiver, right? And that may not look like a whole lot from the outside. It's okay, Brock Bowers is there, but it's going to change the way that he's playing per play, and he really shows up in a great way. Like, basically, we got like a hulked out Hunter Renfro is what we got, right? And I think he's a lot better than Hunter Renfro. A lot of people talk about George Kittle comparisons. I think that he plays a lot like Christian McCaffrey. I was watching their tape side by side one day, and it was just like so many similarities that I saw that, Brock Bowers was our number one pick, at tight end this year for a reason. We didn't need a tight end, but we need a difference maker on the offense that has a lot of diversity, and he is that guy. Now, I don't think that he's going to be having the most receiving yards on our team. I think that Devontae Adams is still going to get the most targets. I think that Jacoby Myers is probably still going to have more than Brock Bowers, though it could be close. So really, our wide receiver core right there, I just talked about five guys, and this is going to be huge for us, guys. I'm telling you, like, I am really optimistic about where our offense is this year, because straight up, like, the last year, our offense was really lacking. It was really severely lacking, and really the year before as well. And I think that our offense is going to take a jump. A lot of that's going to depend on Luke Getsy and what that really looks like. Moving into this new system. But honestly, I think that we're going to have a better experience than the Bears. And look, I mean, they had Tyler Bagent, right? I think that's how you say his name. He was like a UDFA quarterback that they beat us. They beat us with this UDFA quarterback under the same system. So is it Justin Fields? Is it Luke Getsy? What was really the problem there? Maybe just the two just really don't combine very well. I don't really know what the problem is. I think we're going to really get to see. And honestly, I'm really kind of betting that it wasn't Luke Getsy. I think that Luke Getsy is going to show up in a better way with this roster. I think that the skill set is more appropriate with this Raiders team. And I'm just getting excited, guys. I'm getting excited. Keep a lookout for more videos to come. I'm trying to cook out some more content. I totally fell out of the algorithm. It is what it is, nation. I'm going to be putting out at least a video a day for the next couple of days. So, look out. I'm going to put out for tight end room, offensive line, defensive backs, linebacker. I'm just going to just break down all these different positions, man. So keep a lookout for that. I love you, nation. Catch you on the next one.